Okay, so welcome to our Friday edition of Digital Matters. I'm here with Matt Locke. He's sitting beside me in the mountains in the Himalayas at the moment. And we are going to be talking today about Google Analytics and getting a bit of a sort of a basics of how analytics works and how to actually get into the product and how to set it up on your website. Just going to meet a few more people here. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen. Here we go.
It's like a game.
It is, isn't it? So everyone can see my screen there now, can they? I'll make sure there's no one else coming in the door. So Analytics itself is Google's flagship product to understand what is actually going on your website. And to get to it, it's like most things, you can just Google it and you'll find that you'll get to analytics.google.com. You need, obviously, a Google account to log in to analytics. And once you're logged in, if I, for instance, are here and I find my own, we've got a few clients there, find IT Basecamp and come onto our data here. I'll just swap to that one.
Out of interest, Brad, sorry, to have a Google account, is that as simple as registering for a Gmail email address? That's it. Gives me access to all of the Google.
That's right.
Products.
And as a business, I recommend that you standardise with your Google accounts and potentially just have a business-related account, like marketing or something like that, marketing at your business domain name, and use that to put all your sort of Google data in, and then potentially you can share that to other people within your organisation, and people come and go as far as employees and things. You've always got that account sort of set up and active. We obviously use it where we've got a G Suite account and a G Suite for business. So the people that need analytics for different customers and things like that will actually have access to those analytics. And it's very simple to obviously add people so that you can have multiple users looking at the one analytics sort of account. So I'm in as WebOps here at the moment, I think, and I'm going to swap to myself. And here you'll actually see, what I'm actually looking at here is the home page of IT Basecamp's account for our website itself. And sort of these figures here sometimes don't look promising for the last 7 days, and you sort of, oh, what's going on here? It's interesting when you actually flick out to a bigger sort of range, and you'll actually, it hasn't refreshed yet there. Last 90 days. No, it's not refreshing properly. There we go. Yeah, it's if we go back to 28 days, you'll see that over the last 28 days we've actually had an increase of 32.7%. We've obviously got 1,000 visitors. Our site isn't overly popular, but again, these statistics over the month look good. If I go back to the last 7 days, you'll see that obviously there's some different things happening there with the session duration and the number of users that are hitting it.
And you're not running any paid campaigns to your website, are you? So this is all kind of organic.
That's right. This
search
is all
engine related.
All people using it. So we've had 247 people to the website over the last sort of 7 days. And as you obviously scroll down, you can see that it shows us where that traffic is coming from, how we've acquired it. So we've got a lot of referral traffic, which is great. We've got our link on many websites out on the internet that we look after. We have a link down the bottom, or we sort of we're on different business sites, so that's good. Via organic search, that's our third highest. That's our work. We need to get working on that and get our organic search up. Obviously, in the IT space, organic search is quite competitive. So we have to have a look at that. And you can see here that most of our traffic's from Australia, and then we've got a bit of Chinese traffic there as well, and a bit of Indian traffic. I can tell you the Indian traffic always followed by an email from a development company asking if they can do some website development for us. So they obviously are always on the hunt for sales. And it shows you sort of where your sessions are coming from via mobile, tablet, desktop, and you know, some really good information here. And if you are running Google Ads, you know, it integrates into analytics as well. So I guess what I wanted to show you today is to potentially just go through this and actually show you how we set up a Google Analytics account. So I've sort of got to the create account area here, which is down under admin. So if I actually come down to admin down here, okay, I can create an account up here. So I'm going to create an account here for our Engage Shoalhaven website, if I can spell. So Engage Shoalhaven is one of our profit purpose websites for engaging people in the community, especially women. So we want to get our analytics onto that. I'm going to log into the back end of here. And essentially what I need to do within analytics is I create an account. We can have up to 100 accounts. It asks you what you want to do. You know, we want to measure a website. So we click on next and we just give the website a name. Can't spell it in. And we copy the URL from up here. Make sure you just get the root URL, which is without any sort of trailing URLs on it. Trailing URLs, what are they called? Pages. Now, you have to select a category that this is. So, we'll see what sort of is best suited for, I think, people in society is a good one. You set your time zone and your location. And we'll set that to Sydney time. You have to accept Google's data processing rules and how they actually do stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of privacy around in Europe now with GDPR, which you can see here, which is a general data protection sort of set up in the Eurozone. You know, it's worth having a bit of a read of that sort of information because we are tracking how people get to a website, and it's really important that you understand that in some instances you're not allowed to track what people do, especially people from the Eurozone. There are sort of rules in Australia around notifiable data breach. So I'll just accept that. And now it's asking us to do a property setup. And here it actually gives us a little snippet of code to actually put into the head of the actual website code. Now, you may need your developer to do that. There are plugins that work with things like WordPress where you can actually put this information in. The key piece of data here is this UA code just here, and that's the tracking ID. And a lot of the plugins will already have a lot of this information already in it. So you have to sort of obviously work with your developer if you're not sure on how to actually set that up. So I guess, you know, I could go and show you how to do this, but I don't think it's something for a webinar to go through how that thing is set up. It really, once it's established though, you should actually start seeing traffic hit your website, and you'll be able to see it in analytics. And then there's a whole raft of information that can be set up within Google Analytics. And I think I spoke in the last Digital Matters about hooking up the Google Search Console to your Google Analytics console so that the pair of them can communicate. Because remember, if you think the Search Console itself is actually telling you how Google is using the data on your website. So it's sort of where the site's been impressed within Google Search, whereas this is actually tracking the data as people move around the site. So And obviously, they work hand in hand with one another, and they're two obviously very good products to give you an insight and some statistics on what's actually happening and how your site's being viewed on the web. So
this data, this already for some people, of course, will be beyond either their technical ability or interest level. If they're more results focused, so they might have someone inside the company who can interpret the data, because once it's set up, it's set up.
That's
so
right.
Then it's about their tools providing this great insight about where traffic is coming from, how much traffic and where it's coming from, mobile, desktop, and so on. All sorts of wonderful data, but data is only good if you can analyze it.
Turn it into something useful.
Yeah. So if you don't
right.
have that, I mean, I know that at IT Basecamp, we have the SEO type packages where we're optimizing a website and so on, and we have the boot camp and so on. So this forms part of that, correct?
That's right.
This data can be interpreted certainly by IT Basecamp or whoever's watching this, whoever their web developer is or web company, they can interpret it for them, correct?
That's right. And I guess as a business owner, if you're trying to turn your website into something that is generating leads for you or selling product, the more you can actually learn about this product, the better I think you are as well. If you don't want to do that, obviously that's where companies like ourselves come in and we'll be able to help you with this data and turn it into something useful. To grow your organic traffic, I think they're vital tools to understand how analytics works and how the Search Console works, so that and organic traffic is coming up naturally in Google, so that your website is being seen when people are searching for things. So for us, where is an IT company in the Shoalhaven, they're sort of things that we want to come up as in search, and analysing what we've got in our analytics and analysing what we've got and how sort of traffic arrives at our website, looking at how the Search Console is impressing things is really important. So
sure. And what's the cost per month to have the Google Analytics and Search Console?
It's all free. Yeah.
Right.
So,
okay.
Obviously, if we look down the page here, you can see, there's a whole heap of product linking here. There's a reason that Google wants you to use analytics. They want you to get more traffic to your website, maybe put some ads up or, impress some ads. There's obviously Ad Exchange. You can obviously settle that up, per website and get it running. And I think, as we sort of dig deeper into these digital matters, we may start to look at some of these things and sort of show you how sort of that sort of stuff works, because they're all very, very powerful tools. I mean, as we know, Google adopts 90% of internet sort of search traffic. So, being able to harness these tools is vitally important to making your website a success when it comes to getting people to visit.
So cost is not a barrier to any business because it's free.
That's right. Yeah.
Even setting up a Google account with Gmail account's free.
That's right. Yeah.
At its most basic level.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's obviously, with all these products, would you like fries with that? They have all those features so that you can buy different products and do that. So, and look, and the good thing with analytics and the Search Console and all these things, as you saw before, if you've got multiple websites, you can obviously have access to multiple websites from your one login as well, which is really, really powerful. And I guess, in future digital matters, we could potentially talk about using sort of conversions, and we've talked about Google Tag Manager, I think, in the past as well, which is another tool as well to track, especially when you're doing marketing, how people are progressing through your website or to landing pages on your website, and we'll get into that. And I think next week, in our digital matters, I'd like to obviously get a bit of a more of a deep dive into analytics. I'll go and actually set up the code on the website and maybe briefly show you that this is working within our Engage Shoalhaven website, and we can go from there. Good. All right. I think we've finished early today, but that's just a brief introduction to analytics, and thank you everyone for attending, and we'll catch you next week at 10 o'clock. Thanks everyone.